I like that. We're gonna look like Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll introduce our guest.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got a closer look. You might know them from that podcast.
Yeah.
We got Willow Fisher and Jaden Sennett.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair. Who's who?
You do have a Jaden vibe.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You guys have been claiming Smiths lately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're in the Smith clan. You've been claiming.
What's Willow up to? I know Jaden's acting a fool.
I mean,
Probably
honestly,
cleaning up her dad's bullshit.
Yeah.
Dad's killing gay guys after he has sex with them.
Yeah.
Which is an official Dagnabbit boy's opinion.
The official Dagnabbit was fact. It's an official fact. It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion that he's killing gay guys.
This is not an op-ed. This is complete fact.
This is well researched.
We've done the research.
Multiple sources have confirmed.
Yep.
We have broken into Scientology headquarters and listened to all of the recordings, and that's
the Will Smith murder recording.
Yep. This is on Wikipedia with like 5 little blue numbers next to it, so you know it's been documented.
Yeah.
So we have recorded every single therapy session where they dish all their deepest, darkest thoughts. And so far, this is the only thing we've come up with. Everything
else is normal.
Everything else is very normal.
Patton Oswalt is fine.
Yeah,
he's just hanging out.
It's totally fine. He didn't do nothing.
Talks about going to the grocery a lot.
Is Patton Oswalt like in Scientology?
Sure. How else do you get away with killing your wife?
Oh, okay. So we're just allowed to say.
Yeah, we've been doing libel this whole time.
Oh, okay.
We send shots at a lot of people on this pod. I think second episode in, when we ended it, we just threatened Lauren Michaels' life.
So Patton Oswalt's wife was killed by David Miscavige.
Yeah.
And David Miscavige's wife was killed by Patton Oswalt, strangers on a train.
And Shelley Miscavige is a black man.
Really?
Yep. Not a lot of people know that.
That's true. All the founders of Scientology were actually black men. They try to hide that from you.
Scientology is the Muslim Brotherhood. Not a lot of people know that.
It's the White Muslim Brotherhood.
It's the White Muslim Brotherhood, essentially. Yeah. They're on the street. They're trying to talk to you.
Damn, no wonder they're trying to get me so hard.
Yeah. Well, I've been in them for a long time.
One with the law.
Yeah.
Do you guys get those ads for the LA Muslim Brotherhood?
No, I wish I did.
I gotta click on the same shit you're clicking on.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten into a full, it's either people with Down syndrome or memes made by and for Muslims. So they're like, funny. I sent them to Ramsey, and he's like, I send these to my mom, and she genuinely enjoys them.
That's great. You're getting boomer Muslim.
When you know you're having a crazy Eid when, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I get it's like a picture of a pigeon near the Kaaba, and it's like kneeling down, and it's like he is praying.
My Muslim friend and I will during Eid will send each other Eid Mubarak gifts that have 4 pixels, and it's just a crescent moon and some chandeliers and bubbles and stuff, and it's just wishing you a very, very happy Eid.
Yeah, me and my Muslim friends don't do bits because Islam is serious.
That's a good point.
I was about to say, it sounds like you guys aren't really taking it.
It sounds like you guys are haram to me.
Yeah.
That's how Muslims dress in the South. It's just a full it's full dickies. They don't do the robe. They just go full work. They're like, we're dedicated. Obviously, you can tell.
They tuck the XXL white tall tee into black dickies. They stuff it in there so it looks like they got a gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of dudes,
they wear Dickies hijabs.
They wear Dickies hijabs. A lot of dudes reverted, but they didn't wear the robes. They just kept the tall tees. They were the tall tees just are Muslim.
Now there's a bunch of white women in Brooklyn wearing the Dickies hijabs.
They used to cost $299. Now they're $850.
Do you think we could convince Zionist women the hijab is Israel is that's a Jewish thing.
They got hats over there. I was watching a video about some settlers in the West Bank, and they had some tied up hats on their heads. Everybody in the desert wants a tied up hat on their head, no matter.
That's a very good point.
It's really not even if you're in the desert, you're like, I gotta wrap. I need to wrap something up.
Yeah.
If it's hot outside, you get a cold towel, you wrap it around your head. Might as well be in worship of Allah.
Yeah.
I mostly see Israelis wearing just crisp, completely flat, new edition baseball caps.
Yeah. That's like red Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's a City Connect, City
like
Connect,
the cheapest one.
Cleveland Guardians, and that's their religious wear in in Israel.
Yeah. You see a dude with a Cincinnati Reds hat, and he's like, "I'm from here."
Yeah.
It's a guy who's Will's cousin, but he's over there.
Yeah, but they gave him a house. They gave him a house that Jesus used to live in.
That's fine. That's okay. But anyway, so you guys released the
third.
That's the third already.
Mm-hmm.
Third season.
The what?
Yes, yes. The third season of a closer.
Third season of what?
Of Closer Look.
Of a closer look everywhere you get your podcast.
Closer look is.
Do you want to do it?
You want to do it? That's where we have a little routine.
We have a routine. A closer look.
Start. Yeah.
A Closer Look is a 100% scripted comedy podcast where we tell the story of an event from history that didn't happen, but we treat it like it did.
We spend a lot of money to make, past events, interviews sound like interviews, commentators sound like commentators. It all sounds real and like it's from the time.
The first season was about a fake World Series in 1979 between the Lower Manhattan Gambinos, a team run by the mob, and the Nashville Pickers, a team run by a Christian cult.
Second season was about the most expensive failed movie in the history of cinema, the 1990-something failed production of
96.
Cyber Cowboys, a neo-western, where 600 people went into the desert, and then 6 months later, they were all dead.
Will forgot the year Will forgot the year of the production of Cyber Cowboys.
Are you throwing me under the bus in the middle?
Yes, because you usually say the baseball part, and so we got in our lines are backward.
Whatever, dude. God, you can't let me have anything.
No, this is a travesty. This is one of our worst renditions that we've ever done of this.
I love when you guys break script, though.
Dude, you would do anything.
It shows they're real.
You would chew off your own arm if it meant you could throw me under a bus.
Absolutely.
This is how you know this isn't a business relationship. You and me, business.
Me and Shane are purely
This
business.
is passion. This
We don't even like each other.
This is just hot,
we don't hang out
sweaty
like
love. Hot, sweaty, fondling love. We're making out like Mexican teens, dude. I was scootering from the train to work on a sidewalk, and I scootered past two Mexican teens that were under a tree, standing on the sidewalk, hard making out with tongue, running hands through hair. 9:45 in the morning.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
It was awesome. I was like, damn, these people love each other.
You can't
dude.
make out all day unless you start in the morning.
That's a good point.
Hot as hell in a zipped up hoodie.
Oh yeah, they were very overdressed for the weather.
Yeah, was it like a pro sport? I think I saw a kid on the way here. It was a mom, 3 kids. It was a young, fat black kid going through the crosswalk, and he ate shit. And he fell and he rolled like he dropped a piece of gnocchi. And it was so funny because it was already trafficky, and then he was like roly-poling on the ground, and I was like, I mean, he was down for a while. But he was kind of
traffic.
Like it was like an emotional fall almost. He was like on the ground, like. And his mom was like, "You gotta get."
Are you laying on the horn if you're front and center? Light turns green.
You punish it.
To be completely honest, in my anger issues, when he was on the ground for more than 5 seconds, I was like, "Get up, get up!" And then immediately I was like, "Take your time."
He's on a journey.
Yeah, We all need to
just
take
a crane comes up and picks him up. It's like, thank God I drove the crane in traffic.
Yeah.
So anyway, wait. Sorry, I interrupted the riff.
My riff was going to say I have a claw on the end of my car, but that wasn't that good.
No, an excavator came by and picked the whole family
Nice,
up.
very good, very good.
It was crazy.
All right, Shane, what were you going to say now? My T- riff is done.
I was just gonna ask. So you guys have 2 seasons.
Yes.
Is there any chance there might be a third? For all the fans out
now
there?
that's professional.
That's teeing it up.
This is professional.
That's
you guys should have more subscribers than us. The third season is called Season Infinity, where we tell stories from the past, present, and future of sports. They're like fake 30 for 30s.
Yeah, every episode is contained. It's one story or 2-parters.
Sometimes 2-parters or 3-parters.
And the new season is out on Patreon.
Yes,
mostly.
we have a Patreon. We are desperate for money because of how much work this takes, and we are so poor.
Yeah,
we're so poor that when
you're homeless.
You're
both homeless.
Yeah, we're so poor we have to make out under the bridge.
We have to.
So I'm gonna ask the question that's on everybody's mind.
Of course.
Okay.
It sounds like it sucks. Is it good?
Yeah, it's
really good.
It's okay.
Shane's fine. Shane's kind of a hard-nosed. And I thought since we're all friends,
we went over this before we started talking.
Yeah.
Cooper, you ask us the questions about the podcast. Shane.
I'm kind of the bad cop of the podcast.
We're gonna be an ambush. These are gonna.
I feel like ambushed. Yeah. I'm sweating.
We expected softball questions like what kind of ice cream do you guys like?
I do want to ask: is it good?
It is good.
It's okay.
It is good.
No, it's not okay. It's good. I think it's very good. I think it's some of the best stuff.
And
we have ever done. we write every single word, so it's like it's like a radio play more than anything.
Is it your favorite season, you think?
This one?
I think I love all of the seasons for individual reasons differently.
This one is the best.
They're all so weird.
So I've done the research.
Have you
fucking
listened to it,
weird,
Shane?
man.
What?
I like to describe your podcast to other people to like try and give the vibe. I'm like, so in the first season, there's baseball teams and one of the stadiums floats above New York.
Yes.
Above World Trade Center Tower 7.
Yeah, so I just tell them that. I'm like, so it floats and there's issues with birds. And they're like, I think I get it. And I'm like, so that's kind of what, like...
That's what's going on.
That's what you're working with the show. The stadium floats. So that should let you in on what's happening. But Shane has a lot of criticisms. I don't agree with.
Shane, have you listened to it?
I actually haven't listened to it, but I've done the research.
Okay.
It is good.
Okay.
I read Shane's brutal takedown of us in Art Forum.
Yeah,
the whole New York art scene is reeling from his.
My friends recorded a podcast. I haven't listened to it, and I'm jealous.
Shane's always very clear about where his gripes come from in his op-eds.
Oh yeah. Emphasis on op-eds.
Yeah. Oh wow,
dude.
You're my op-ed.
This one's against the fucking ops,
and you're my op.
Yeah, the guy that lives on 3rd in fucking Washington, I'll kill you. That's my op-ed.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an enemies list where you just read off, spend a section of the podcast reading off?
as a heavy listener of the podcast, genuinely.
Really?
I know their biggest, they have an op named Johnny Dog Shit.
Well, Johnny Dogshit is the mayor of
LA. The mayor of LA. Yeah.
He is.
And they spend a lot of time griping about Johnny Dog.
This is crazy. I canvassed for Johnny Dog Shit. I did.
Well, that's why we're upset, because we voted for him, and then he's installed this thing where he like straps C4 to homeless people so they're blowing up around the city. He's given people $50,000 to put cracks in the sidewalk. And we didn't realize that this was liberal politics that we voted for.
Yes.
So we only bring him up to describe to like conservatives in Texas or whatever what it's like in LA.
Yeah.
Pretty much with our current liberal mayor that's installing liberal policies such as exploding homeless people and shit like that.
Tomorrow is Kidnap Cooper's Mom Day.
Yeah, which I'm pissed about.
Johnny Dog Shit. So I'm friendly. Full disclosure, I'm actually friendly with the family, the Dog Shits. Johnny's brother Claude Dog Shit and I, we do club drugs together, and we're banned from a lot of bars in LA.
Yeah.
And he and I are actually embezzling money from the Kill Cooper's Mom Day parade.
Yeah,
it was actually Kidnap Cooper's mom.
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
Yes. I'm sorry. I probably fucked up.
I spoiled the October holiday.
Yeah, Kidnap is Friday, Kill is Sunday. You know?
Oh, damn, Cooper. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a rough fucking weekend.
Yeah. What are you doing this weekend?
I'm going to Santa Monica.
Yeah, you're just getting out of town.
It's my happy place. I go to the pier, and I try and get as far away from LA as I physically can by walking to the end of the Santa Monica pier.
Sure.
And I still can't escape, the Jersey. I mean, I'm in Santa Monica County, but he also has a lot of pull over there too.
He's enacted. There's a fence just human shit.
Yeah.
There's human shit all over the fence, so you can't leave any part of LA without.
Yeah, I mean, he caged us in. That pisses me off. I don't like that he doesn't speak publicly. He has Lori Lightfoot speak for him.
That's strange. I always thought that was weird.
That's her new post-Chicago job. People are like, what's she up to now? It's like she's the
press secretary.
Yeah, she's the representative. They just call her Los Angeles. They just say she is Los Angeles.
Which is a bummer, because you both individually say you are Los Angeles all the time.
We're the LA Outlaw Podcast.
Without being asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, people wonder what LA's like, and it's like just a couple of outlaws trying to get over the crack streets, exploding homeless people, and, national shit and spread it on the ground day.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
You
can't even call it national. It's a city government. But he's like, I don't know. And,
it's intergalactic shit on the ground and spread
Johnny
it.
Dog Shit has called himself the first citywide nationalist.
Yeah, somehow, I don't know.
I don't understand what he means by that.
You know, like the LA police helicopters, you might remember the numbers on this more, but they spend like hundreds of millions of dollars a year on just helicopters. And Johnny Dog Shit, his whole thing is more helicopters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stuff coming out of them.
And he wants them to crash into each other sometimes.
Yeah, so I don't know. We've been dealing with that. And we're also getting a lot of hate from, oddly enough, Nate Bargatze.
Really?
Yeah, the Johnny Dog Shit thing, he's an evil guy.
Yeah.
But Nate...
Is it a Nashville thing?
I don't think so. He said it has nothing to do with it.
And he says it calmly, but if you watch his podcast, he'll be like, yeah, like he kind of almost ruins his own podcast. He won't stop talking about us, where he's just like, I don't know what it is, but I don't think it should exist, and I don't like it.
I heard gossip that it was all three of you lusting over the same woman.
Oh,
I mean, that did start with Darlene.
Nate Bargatze's wife.
Yes, yeah.
You guys have been trying to.
You guys have been coveting her quite a lot.
Minute, dude.
We have this weird issue where we will not stop DMing touring headliners' wives and being like, "Baby, I can show you the world."
Oh, straight up breaking the 9th commandment.
Oh, he's in Minneapolis. Looks like no one's home. Time to deliver the pizza.
I'm straight up. I'm sending images of kilos of cocaine to like Nate, Sam Morrell, or anybody who's doing well and touring. I am constantly DMing their wife.
Yeah.
But I always give my credits. I'm like, recent paid regular.
Yeah.
I'd really love to work.
Totally.
So I get in there.
Is it out of like a sense of, do you get off on like banging a married man's wife, or is it like your anger sort of at like where you're at in your career compared to these guys, that like you're kind of one-upping these guys who are so far above you?
I would say it's actually it's kind of a feeling of you get to feel like a powerful sort of cuck. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Of that you're cuckolding somebody while also being a cuck. Because that you fuck his wife, then he comes home and he fucks his wife.
And you're still there? You still at the house?
I hang out in the,
We're around the
laundry basket.
I see.
Underneath the laundry.
You hide under the clothes?
Yes,
That's
I do.
great.
And I smell his clothes.
For me, it's honestly like this podcast is like not doing well. We got like 20 viewers, and it's like you got to think of different things to do to make yourself part of the motion that's happening around you. Because I see all these guys selling tickets, and I'm like, what are some things they do? Well, they're married to this lady,
right?
So that's
yeah.
Because I can't headline, I can't fucking sell out.
You got to
people.
find a magic.
How can I out hustle them?
Yeah.
How can I out hustle them?
It's like if I could pretty much do all the things that they're doing around the headlining, then the headlining would probably come by proxy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, if you fuck enough wives, eventually their magic will rub off on you.
Yeah. So pretty much, I mean, that's kind of what we're into. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of beef started on this podcast constantly.
Yeah.
Mostly with people who could help us.
That's great.
Yes. Yeah. And with people who couldn't.
Well, that's how you. That's called that's like a test, right? You're testing the people that could help you. It's like, how bad do you want to help me out?
Yeah. If I fucking shit on you,
will you ignore me? Will you ignore me talking about injecting you with like poisonous chemicals?
Yeah.
Cooper's like, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym, and they're like, you fucked my wife.
Yeah.
People ask, I go, do you know how funny I am? Eric Griffin takes me out on the road, and I threaten his life daily.
You drive in the car, you just go, whoopsie.
Yeah. He told me, he was like, oh, I'm moving. I was like, I'll be there. Like I sent him pictures of his new house, and I'm like, I'm fucking here. You know what I mean? And he's like, all right, I got some dates,
Is he moving? Or is he just moving in LA?
He's just moving around. But, I mean, I track him, I follow him, and I send, I got the numbers of every single paid regular at the store. I went into the office and stole it. And I just send them, like, fucked up text messages just about, like, you better not be at the chicken spot today because, like, I'm a slide and shit like that.
Yeah. You were like, you send them. Did you start off with like fucking like open micers girlfriends after?
Oh no,
open
that's
mics?
gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
You don't want those disgusting women.
They're dating loser.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck you. You're dating a loser.
After my first mic, they took me aside and said, "You never want to fuck the headliners' wives. You never fuck someone at the club. You never fuck a waitress at the club. You fuck the headliners' wives, but you don't mess with the staff.
You don't fuck with business.
You know what I tried the other day that didn't really work? So I went over to Bert Kreischer's house after he just freshly fucked his wife, the magic lady.
Okay.
And I sucked his semen out of and then I stored it in my mouth like a squirrel.
I shuddered. I
kept it in my mouth like a squirrel, and then Cooper gave me his text messages, and I spit it into my hands, and I took a picture and I sent it to Bert Kreischer.
You
and I say,
okay.
Hey, if you ever want to see these guys again, you will let me open for you.
Right.
And now he's on the Fully Loaded tour.
Yes, I am.
There's pictures of
now he's
Shane
hanging with Trevor Wallace.
Yeah, he's hanging backstage with Trevor Wallace, Jelly Roll. Like he's having a lot of fun doing the barbecue hole.
They're introducing me to their wives.
Yeah.
And you know what happens then.
And you know what the
big mistake.
Yeah. It about 4 minutes.
Yeah. So,
it's hard for to like suck it out of Jelly Roll's wife because he always goes through the back door and that shit's nasty. To me, that's disgusting.
It's crazy nobody listens to this. It's just crazy. No agent or manager is fucking pawing to have this podcast.
I bet Drew will watch this one.
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah.
Drew, our manager.
They have to watch anything we do.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're contractually obligated.
It gets actually sent on a chain email around the entire management company. It's like, You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all with that boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew, sign this.
Yeah. Sorry.
How about you sign this?
Yeah.
Drew
Lock up your girlfriend.
Jim Carrey's been watching the pod.
Really?
He has?
What's he been saying? Or
He's been saying, quit saying I killed my girlfriend a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You remember he killed his girlfriend?
Well, he's on a thing of like self-discovery and meditation. So he honestly feels for us. He's like, I can sense a lot of anger in you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, anger permeates off this podcast like you wouldn't believe. I listen to it on the way to work and I have to pull over sometimes.
Yeah.
So I can get out and punch the closest
There's
car.
a smell. If you're not in this room, there's a smell like a freshly fired gun. It smells like anger. That's the anger
There's
smell.
a haze.
You know what's funny? The podcast did start basically from me and Cooper just talking about our anger issues for 2 hours on the ride back from Malibu.
Yeah, I mean, I just spoke to Shane enough, and then we both realized that we're not able to work well enough with other people. And we were like, well, pretty much if we don't do this together, then we can't have a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, we had two of our other friends who I won't name come to do this kind of episode, and they quit 15 minutes in.
Really? Why?
They were upset.
It's like, I'm tired of hearing about cum getting sucked out the door.
Well, they came in being like, hey, guys, you guys are a little wild, and that ramped it up with Shane, and then that ramped me up.
Yeah.
And I think we upped whatever we do.
You went past what they thought they could handle.
Well, we view it as if you are able to talk about like sucking the cum out of somebody's wife, then we also get into conversations that are like about family and about drug addiction and about like death.
Yeah.
Because we've opened the door enough.
Yeah.
Like if you're able to talk about that, then talking about anything serious is also there.
Yeah.
So a lot of our episodes are like half sucking the cum out of Bert Kreischer's wife, and then the other half is like our struggles with letting go of resentment.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
Yeah. I'm just telling stories about like how I grew up, like with rats inside of my couch I had to sleep on because I didn't have a bed.
Yeah.
That really upset. Oh, never mind. I can't say that. That really upset a person.
Yeah, but pretty much that did not go well.
Let's call this person Mr. X.
Yeah. But pretty much, I mean, it's been very fun. Shane getting hired at the Comedy Store,
you guys just run fucking roughshod.
I
mean, Shane was pretending to eat cigarettes off the ground.
Day 3,
his first day. It's the only time I've literally been like, I got you this job. Chill.
There is someone is teaching you how to change the keg right now.
Yeah. But I like Shane because he's like me, where I see you meet new people, not to treat you like a dog, but I see you meet new people, and I see you, I hear you say insane shit about your family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is good. You show them what the buffet has to offer.
Right, you don't gotta hide anything. Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible. That's our biggest issue, is we're not able to be professionals.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have Don't Tell tapings.
Yeah.
That's why we have this podcast talking about sucking cum.
You're about to get one, dude. You just got to say more mean shit about the people that tape those.
Yeah. We're going to get a dark, twisted taping.
Who tapes it?
I mean, them,
They do? I just can't find. I can't find their wives.
Yeah.
Just can't.
The yellow pages don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Well, the problem
You
is
should be able to find who anybody's wife was. What a cheat code, dude.
we're filing through, just straight up cold calling wives.
I would just take a page and then go down the list, dude.
We start off nicely like, hey, my name's Cooper. I'm from the Dagnabbit Boys podcast. I heard you are Nate Bargatze's wife. I had a lot of interest in cucking him. I wondered how interested you were in that. And they're like, what the fuck?
You're cold calling like you're selling knives.
Yeah, and they're like, you don't talk about this publicly, right? And I'm like, it's actually the main thing I do on the podcast I release. Very funny you ask.
Yeah. I actually pay Instagram to promote these clips.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember when we went to go fuck Patton Oswalt's wife and then he already got there?
Yeah, I mean, it was fucking bullshit.
No, David Miscavige already got there. Remember the Strangers on a Train?
Yeah. And, and we fuck husbands, too. I mean,
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I fucked Whitney Cummings' newest boyfriend.
He's got a boyfriend. Which
Oh,
is
you guys
cool.
fuck husbands too?
You fucked Will?
Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not talking about that publicly.
Respect.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so I fucked Will in the ass and then sucked the cum out, and then I spit it in my hand. I was like, if you ever want these guys back, you're going to have to give me $20.
I said, buddy, keep them. I'm trying to give them away.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I just lost 2 pounds. Great.
There's nothing.
2-pound cum.
Now wait a minute, that would be my own cum. That's how I fucked up. I didn't realize until.
Oh no!
Yeah.
God damn it!
The logic of my gambit has prevented is not working.
Yeah.
I keep doing that.
Yeah.
The ocean that exists between what we put out online is hilarious. I think about your guys' podcast where you're like, we spent a lot of money. It took months. We recorded this. And I'm like, me and Shane come into my apartment and just ruin opportunities every week. Just every week, just stuff that anybody in their right mind would be like, well, I mean, this would be a liability. This is just...
I mean, I've been a liability the entire time I've done comedy. Why stop now?
That's right.
Yes.
And look where that's gotten you guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we got...
Door guys at the Comedy Store.
Yeah,
We got
Shane Gillis
38.
wants to punch me.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume you've told that story.
Not on the pod,
I don't
because I
think
have to
so.
say a no word.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Well-
you can still go for
Well,
it.
you have to
Just don't say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, then the problem is you have to. The thing is, you have to admit that you said it at an earlier date.
Well, great.
Yeah.
That's already happened. So perfect. You can tell us.
hypothetically.
We don't know what word it is.
This
That's
is all...
It could be, actually, maybe you need to, because then it sounds like I said the really bad
I'm thinking
one.
you're saying the bad one, right?
Yeah, the really bad
Just
one.
tell the truth.
Okay, so I got super drunk at a New Year's party at Zany's in Nashville, and I went. It was 4 a.m. I go to the green room, and I see Shane Gillis, and I say, "Oh, you're the guy." You know the word he said.
And it was a reference to what he said. It
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
you.
You were just kind of stating a fact.
Yeah.
You were
Yes.
just. It was.
Yeah.
It was like when you read a history book.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
if it's there, it happened because someone else said it.
And
Yeah.
he only said it in a bit.
Yeah.
So if he's referencing a bit that wasn't even serious, what Shane's saying is barely, that's not even real.
It's media
Yeah.
criticism.
Yeah.
That's
you're
like
doing,
saying-
you're
And then
doing
I said,
media
you
criticism.
fucking N-word.
Is that true?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it couldn't not,
And
He
got
did.
mad.
He did ask me to say it at one point, and I was like,
Yeah, what
no,
happened after that?
No.
What happened immediately after you said, hey, you're the blank guy?
He was like friendly for a little bit, and then he got really mad out of nowhere and started yelling. I think he was trying to like big dog me by being friendly, and then he saw it wasn't working, and then
he changed tactics.
Because you're a crazy person.
yeah, and then he started being aggressive, and then we took a picture together for some reason,
Yeah.
and let's see, and then he left. He left. It ruined his night.
Yeah, so you won.
You won.
You're
Yeah.
there live.
Yeah.
I don't know. I made a guy feel bad.
And well,
That's why I like this guy.
Yeah.
He can't be beaten.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You gotta set low goals and achieve them very easily, which
Yeah.
is rile
But-
someone up, and then your life is complete.
Yeah, but then a couple months later, my friend called me
This
because
is my favorite part of the story.
Shane Gillis was at Zany's, and Tanner brought me up. That's the guy's name. And Shane's like, yeah, I've seen his videos. Very funny, but I want to punch him in the stomach next time I see him.
oh my gosh.
Okay. So,
And he's not going to punch me, probably.
yeah, but he doesn't think you're funny.
Yeah, that's good.
So
That's
there
why
you
we
go.
do the pod, because I'm like, famous, some of the most powerful
Want to
comics
kick your ass.
want to kick his ass, but the talent shines through.
Yeah.
It's sort of the comedic equivalent of like tying one hand behind your back and then fighting someone.
Yeah.
To be like, I could be the greatest boxer in the world with one arm.
Yeah.
Like, how much
Yeah.
can you handicap yourself that your talent is undeniable?
It's
Yeah.
5% away from undeniable.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's definitely still denied.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You can definitely
so
deny it.
close.
yeah. Well, we
Like-
just gotta we gotta riff harder. We gotta work out
Yeah,
harder.
dude. Yeah, we aren't working hard enough.
Yeah.
We're so close.
But, much love to their podcast. I hope
Yeah.
their
The
podcast
rival
is
podcast.
doing well.
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Don't say its name. You don't want to get any business.
Yeah.
I don't want to
You know
give
what
them any
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
You know, this
Being
is kind
the
of
most successful Patreon of all time,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
But
For now. For now.
we
For
are
now.
peers.
Yeah.
I view us
Yeah.
as peers.
Yeah,
you know, this would
yeah.
be an easy clip. Like just me telling the story would be an easy clip. I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I should have. I met like all the other guys on the podcast just when I was in Austin, and they were some of the sweetest boys you ever meet.
Sure.
They're very nice.
I should have told them that story.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should have been like, I have a Shane too.
Yeah. A little different than yours.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a Shane who worked in an auto shop, and his sister was addicted to heroin, and
A lot of similarities
Wow. Yeah.
between both the Shanes. You just got to find your Shane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
every Shane
Find your Shane,
worked
dude.
in a body shop at some point.
Yeah.
Who
There was literally another
is
Shane.
Which one of us is Shane?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Which one of us is
the bigger liability?
Which one of us is ruining more opportunities?
Yeah.
Ah, man, that's a
coin flip. I'd say it's me, maybe.
What are you talking about?
I'm blowing shit left and right.
I am widely disliked.
By who? You think you're disliked.
I make the worst person.
All right, let me pull up the list of people that don't like
I think
it.
you're de facto, Shane.
Yeah.
And I don't think you really are. I think Will has more followers.
Okay.
So you're de facto.
That's a good point.
But then again, you have more potential to ruin everything.
Oh, yeah. And I'm trying every day.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't post a video that could ruin it. I think even a video trying to ruin it, they'd be like, he's stepping into a new zone.
Yeah.
You know
I guess I'm as the smart one. I can't be, right?
Yeah.
Which one of you guys is the smart one?
Cooper.
But
I don't
Shane,
think so.
You're very smart.
No,
too.
Shane is smarter.
You're both very smart.
Shane is 100% smarter than me.
Yeah,
And
that's why you guys are so funny.
you find that
because
out.
you're so smart that it makes you mad all the time. And then you have to do a podcast about it.
See,
It's
I don't
amazing.
like this part.
If you watch
What?
the podcast, you'll realize I am just okay at sounding like I know things.
Sure.
And then Shane is
You're a sued.
actually knowledgeable. He's read like 150 books this year.
Sure.
And that'll just come out by proxy.
Yeah.
Anything I've ever learned, I say to anyone that will listen almost immediately. So that's why I could come off smarter, because I'll watch like a fucking video on the West Bank and then ruin our podcast for 30 minutes. And then Shane is the kind of guy that could just watch that and realize he doesn't need to be proud that he now knows that.
Sure.
Pretty much.
Sure.
Dude, how good is being a sued? Just a faker, an intellectual faker. I love it.
I can't
it's
stop.
Awesome.
I just accepted it's just
Yeah, it's
like
the guy who knows facts.
Yeah.
You can just do that for the rest of your life.
Just
I don't know how to
memorize. Just memorize the dates stuff happened. It's great.
yeah.
Yeah,
great. You can
yeah.
correct
Okay, let's
people.
do a real smartness test. All right, math. Let's do some math real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'm stumped.
74.
Ooh, that's a good one.
74.
74.
Times 92.
Times 92.
Yeah.
Um,
It's gotta be
74 times 92. The thing is, now I'm actually going to do this.
74
I'm going to do
times
dead
92.
air so that I'm the first one to figure it out. And it's okay.
81,000.
Times.
That's the only
Okay,
issue.
so 74 times 8 is 560, 596.
It's going to be in the 600s.
596.
Oh.
It's
6,000,
6,804.
oh.
Not even close.
Pretty
Fuck.
close.
Not even fucking
Close enough.
Yeah, 6,000. That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
Shane
to
was
say.
closer.
What
So
was that?
therefore, Shane is smarter because me and Cooper kind of took the day off.
Yeah.
We were just kind of watching you guys work.
I hopped out.
Yeah. And Shane, you were almost off by 1,000.
I was off by
By 800.
where did I go wrong?
Don't know.
7,200. 7,200 would be
Well,
70.
you times the 7 by the 9, then you get the 1,000. And then
Okay.
you times the 2 by the 8.
See, I tried
Yeah.
to do.
Worked right.
So I
See,
tried to.
I didn't even consider that.
I just tried counting.
I did.
I heard that and I was like, well, we're joking around.
I did 74 times 100,
Yeah.
and then I tried to figure out what 74 times 8 was so that I could subtract that from
Sure.
7,400.
How about this? How about this, astute? You guys both felt the need to solve that.
That's right.
You guys
I
both
didn't
felt
really
you had to
feel the
prove
need.
something.
I looked over
More
at
than
Cooper and
Cooper.
he wasn't doing anything, so I decided, I might as well do it.
I'm not a
Yeah.
math guy. What was the highest level of math you guys read?
I was dog shit. about it.
I was
I
so
did
bad.
calculus.
I think I did calculus 1, where it was
Yeah.
like half a semester.
Yeah.
And I did that, and then the calculus teacher was like, you don't need to do any more. Like, you don't need to do it. You have enough credits, and also it would be insane to think, because I think I failed. I must have like failed it or maybe got a C by like charity.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. I did
Highest-
calculus in high school because if you did it in high school, then you wouldn't have to do it in college.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I,
yeah.
I got like a
Mine-
16 on my math ACT.
My math,
Which is incredibly bad.
Out of what?
Yeah.
Out of 36, 35, 36.
Damn, that's like 2/3
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
I just want to
That's
say
a
how
math
funny
joke for
my
everybody.
last math class was. It was called Math 2.
Too.
Well, that's how dumb I was. Is I took calc in high school, but then when I got to my state school college, I took a class that I think was called. It was literally called Math Ideas, and
Whoa.
they
Love
were
that.
teaching
just
us.
going in and talking shit.
It was
Now, let me propose to you the idea of 7.
like literally day one. They're telling us what negative numbers are.
Now,
Fantastic.
And we had a teacher who was a woman from India who was a student teacher that had such a thick accent. It was a group of college kids in like 2022, so everybody's trying to be
Everyone's being
nice.
cool. Yeah,
so
yeah.
everybody's being cool, but literally the entire class was like, cannot understand you, and we're dumb. And then she was like also just not the best teacher. So it was kind of a nice class because also everybody was honest. We were like, we're all out of
bad, you're bad. It's
quit
fine.
DMing all the women, sexy lady.
Hey. Teachers doing that.
We got, I think the
quit
class
going through the phone book and dialing up people's wives.
Yeah, we actually gave some ideas to the boys over there. They're like, wait a minute.
Dude, they get their hands on a Yellow Pages from 2005. It's over.
Yeah.
I guess people are mad at Indians for being awooga all the time, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of the new thing, is just mercilessly taunting them.
Just
on
being
Twitter
racist.
And being incredible. Some of the most racist stuff I've ever seen in my life.
They're getting the most online hate for sure.
It's crazy.
Like, number one, people are like, I'm sick of it. And you're like, you can't be sick of a people.
They hate them so much that it's like in a year, there's going to have to be a conversation.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it also fucks up any real conversation, because I have heard from like people who have family in India where they're like, yeah, there's just a bad rape culture there, where it's like there's like too much of a given of like, I want to fuck you, and then like women getting raped. But then you can't talk about that because all the discourse you see is just pure racism.
Yeah.
So then if you mention something like that, you're now just in a bunch of guys being like, I know what you mean. And you're like, no,
shit.
No, this is a legitimate issue about protecting women. And they're like, I'm pretty pissed off at Indian dudes. And you're like, that's your own issue.
Yeah.
That's your want.
But credit to the guys in India. They've found a way to push back, and it's the way that they're doing it is getting really into being pro-Israel and saying the worst possible stuff to Muslims imaginable.
Is that just because they don't like Muslims?
Yes.
Is that why they're pro-Israel?
It is. Like Indians hate Muslims, so they'll go to like someone's like Gaza fundraiser tweet like, I need to get out of here. And they'll like comment like, I just Venmo requested you $1,000. Like there is some real bone deep haterism there, where they're following Muslims to the Israel-Palestine conflict and being like, I'm gonna throw my hat into this.
Yeah, I saw a video like October 9th, like couple days after, Indian dude full Hitler costume, and it was like a lot of different reactions to the conflict. Yeah. That's what you learn. You learn about that conflict. You find the two main groups, you're like, okay. And then every other group outside of it is the most insane group of people you've ever heard of. Like just Christians in the South being like, so we got to get them all there so we can burn them to. And you're like, holy shit.
Do you know about this?
No.
The evangelical Christian belief is that if you give as many weapons, not just the geopolitical like advantage of America standing in like the world as the global hegemon, but if you give enough guns to the Israelis and you spark enough of a war there, it will trigger the rapture.
Whoa.
Because that's like a chapter of their like their version of the Bible is that
it's called If You Give a Jew a Country.
Well, yeah, because like before it even reached like Theodor Herzl or like Western European leaders, a lot of Zionist leaders were Christian theologians who started that first as an idea and then exploited the quote Jewish problem to sell it to politicians who were just moderate anti-Semites. But now they view the creation of Israel as the beginning of the rapture, and then they think there needs to be a war. So Gaza, like October 7th was like fucking payday for them. So you'll watch these videos where this guy, like I think John Hagee, because evangelicals I think are like the largest private donors to Israel, or like those groups are some of the largest private donors. And it's just an odd thing where like Netanyahu fucks with them.
Yeah.
Dude, we can't stop drinking water over here.
You guys can talk about Israel. That shit makes us thirsty.
But yeah, it is wild. And there's
all this listening is making my mouth dry.
Oh boy, Nate and Cooper have popped off on the not
We're just
funny.
Gonna sit back here and drink out of our jug.
I might sip from my jug for a spell while I listen to this here Israel talk.
Look at this. Cooper now pulled out his jug. Thinking
he can be a jug boy.
Nate.
Cooper, you're not a jug boy.
I got the best jug.
No.
This is a Hydro Flask Trail Edition. It's lightweight, keeps water cold for up to 48 hours.
No,
so.
we are the dry mouth orators.
I should like draw a bunch of X's on the fucking.
That's terrible, man.
You know, haters
You walk
can hate.
around with that?
I walk around.
You
with
walk
this.
around in public.
In public.
Man alive.
With those shoes?
With those shoes?
We're doing a
You're
lot
walking
of
around like that with those shoes.
I got the greatest shoes ever made, Jordan 1 lows.
We're doing a lot of cross-talk bits about water bottles that people can't see. So not only can they not record.
Hey, we got a recording. We got a video.
That's a good point. All right, so when you get to this part of the episode, for the folks at home, when you get to this part of the episode that you're listening to in your car, pull up the video version.
You think our viewers have cars?
Nalgene.
Yeah.
I have a black Nalgene bottle. What does Shane have?
I got some shit that was $30 on Amazon.
That's
I don't know what
great.
it's called.
Why don't you take the sticker off?
Because I like it.
It just is.
I really like it.
You like reading the sticker? He's always reading. He's reading the sticker.
It
No,
is
tough to take
That's
off.
the 150
That nerd
books
reading
I
the
read.
sticker.
I read this year. I was just reading fucking stickers.
You reading the stickers on water bottles?
Yeah.
Reading ingredients to like
I'm
chips.
rereading the water bottle again.
Yeah. I read Doritos Cool Ranch the other day.
I'm logging it on Goodreads.
I'm at the chapter about niacin and vitamin B12.
Yeah, but
Yeah, still don't know what the fuck any of this means.
Yeah, I've been learning a lot about taurine. I don't know. I've been reading.
Yeah.
You read a book called Genital Shredding recently?
Genital Grinder.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's called the genre is called hardcore horror. It's basically like the like hardcore as in like, porn.
Sure.
Okay.
It's very insanely graphic horror.
Oh God.
And you're supposed to you whack off with the book where it's like, and he ripped her.
Would somebody whack off to it?
Probably not this one.
Yeah.
Because there's not really anything fetishized about it.
Sure.
It's just like it's fun to read because it's just a guy kind of having a blast writing the most fucked up things he can think of.
Yeah.
And it's just like kind of inventive, and it's writing wise, like sentence by sentence, it's pretty well written.
Yeah.
Like for a book like that.
What is it about?
It's just a collection of short stories that was written by this guy Ryan Harding.
Okay.
The main ones are these guys called Greg and Vaughn. Those are the main. They're like necrophiliac Beavis and Butthead.
King Vaughn.
Yeah.
King Vaughn.
But it's like it is some of the best comedy writing I've read outside of like somebody that actually does comedy for a living. There's like some good jokes in there.
Interesting.
You buy the audiobook and it's just this podcast. And it's like,
I mean, that's the thing.
And then I ripped the lady's butt cheek off.
That's not that far off.
I ripped the lady's butt cheek off and put it on my head.
I mean, Shane was literally describing the book to me at the back door of the Comedy Store, and then people having a separate conversation.
Too loud.
Stops talking, and we're like, what is that? What are you talking about? And Shane was like, this is a book I read.
Yeah.
Which is a good example. I mean, if you read a lot, you read shit that Shane's into. It's like it's the result of being interested in literature is you get to that kind of stuff, know. And that's kind of what our podcast does. Is it's absolutely disgusting, but it's we like to think there's qualities that will never be appreciated.
You're trying to de-Caucasian the canon. You're trying to get all the books by straight white men out and replace them with the guy who put balls in a blender.
Yeah.
And that's
I think balls might end up in a blender. No, they don't, but some intestines end up in a blender.
Well, that's just good eating. That's just good.
Yeah. There is a hardcore horror novel called Babies in a Blender.
Jesus.
Yeah, which is just about like the future and people have to there's like a drug inside of babies, so they just drink it. Usually this stuff is really like poorly written, but Genital Grinder was pretty good.
Damn. All right.
I love it.
I read it because it's easy to do at the back door of the Comedy Store.
Sure.
Yeah,
I can't read. But then again, I am reading a serious like novella right now called The Necrophiliac, which was written in the 70s. And it is just like this beautifully well-written like French decadent novel, But it is just also just super fucked up.
That's wonder if they would they ever have that at like a high school library? Like, would you be able to like?
There's stuff. They take stuff like that.
We should
they don't even let Stephen King in there sometimes.
We should lobby on freedom of speech grounds that the necrophiliac should be put in the high school library.
Babies in a Blender should be assigned reading.
Truly, not to sound like a dumbass, but it's like I feel like so many kids think they don't like reading
and they just
because of what they're shown.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Even having a teacher in college explain to me that most of Shakespeare is like dick jokes and stuff, is I was like, why is it not always explained like this? It's like they make it such a mountain to climb that when it's not. I was talking about this with Meat Stevens. Good boy, literature guy. I like him.
Shout out to Meat.
I like him because he writes poetry, he's in the literature scene, but he's a boy. He shows up to Buffalo Wild Wings, and it's like, that's what you do if you're like a real artist, is you're like, yeah, that's my craft, but I don't need to look like it, you know? And it's it's an issue with high school where I'm sure if you fucking showed them Genital Grinder, eventually those kids would read Dostoevsky or whatever the fuck you want them to. But it's like, you need to engage them somehow and be like, reading is the same as fucking TV. Like, you're not going to be a smarter person. It's just something you're fucking doing.
I think the reason for that is because the people that currently are in the art world is like, well, I had to wear a beret and be the hugest pussy on earth because otherwise I did that for no reason. That has to be part of me being into art, and you obviously don't get it if you have fun. And I'm a huge loser who wears berets, so I have to do that because I understand the stuff.
Yeah. I mean, me and Shane are opposites in the way that I walk around with the beret and literally can only tell you about the most famous authors, and I can only tell you 4 sentences about them. Mm-hmm. Shane's in a full Dickies fit and has read more books than anyone I've ever met. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's a way to live life where you're not trying to prove it to everybody.
I remember when I was in school, I refused to read anything they had assigned us.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Like, it pissed me off to somebody telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Like, it pissed me off so much.
This is the greatest example of what I'm talking about. Yeah. Shane loves reading, and what they gave him in high school was completely not interesting. And it's like, look what you did to somebody who loves reading.
Hates homework.
Yeah, more than any other fucking...
I fucking...
You pissed on the homework.
Oh, shit, I accidentally read the book that was assigned.
That happened. I read the things they carried, and then it was, like, assigned the next year, and I'm like, I'm not reading this again. I'm not reading... I also didn't want to read it because they were telling me to.
Yeah.
Did I tell the story on the podcast of having an art teacher try to reach me?
No, that's awesome.
I don't think maybe, but I don't think so. I mean, hit it again.
Okay. Oh yeah. So I was talking to this art teacher, and she was like asking me stuff about like what beauty was, and I basically was just like, yeah, beauty can only really be like drawn or like created, and I think nature is ugly. And then she tried showing me like a video of the sea, and I go, why the fuck are you showing me that ugly shit? You stupid. And then I said the C word.
Well, were you like the Punisher in high school?
Yeah. You were quoting Moby Dick though. That's a line in Moby Dick. Why are you showing me this sea, you stupid cunt?
It's like, really?
It's how I Hemingway.
Acted? Yeah. How I acted in high school was either if I had friends in there, I was super mean to the teachers and like other people because they thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't, I would just kind of, just sit back and sleep.
Yeah.
I would sleep a lot.
You can't find guys like this anymore.
No, you can't.
They all stopped in 80s movies.
Out of them. Yeah, dude.
And Shane held it down of making teachers cry because he'd already read the book. I mean, that's sick, yeah.
They don't try to make teachers cry anymore for the love of the game. They do it just because they don't know how to read.
I got in trouble
The teachers are crying for real reasons that the kids are too stupid to be reached.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing funnier than truly a kid that has engaged with enough literature that he's still calling the teacher a cunt.
Yeah,
it's like, damn, the other kids are just fucking angry, but this kid has like a lot to say. Like,
I called a teacher a cunt one time, and my older sister, bonded because we both called the same teacher a cunt.
Nice.
It was a guy.
A family rite of passage.
It was a guy. That makes.
I tried to get
better.
a teacher fired in 11th grade. Like, I was just trying to fuck with him because it was the creative writing class, and it was just he was like. He gave me so many, like, fucking, like, choices and freedom, and I still was like, this isn't enough.
Creative writing. This is my 10-page short story. Mr. Anderson has child porn in the third cabinet on the left side of his desk.
Yeah, it's a deposition.
Yeah.
I'm calling him out.
I finally got in trouble for writing something because I wrote a poem called Everyone in My Creative Writing Class Sucks. And I just talk shit. I talk shit about everybody by name, but I made it all up. I would just be like, there's this guy that's really into Roman history, so I was like, yeah, he jacks off to like pictures of generals or something. Like he has sex with like he goes to the Arlington National Cemetery and digs up the bodies and has sex with them. And me and my friend Oliver loved it. And also, there were a bunch of guys that crowded around me because I wrote funny stuff. So there's a bunch of people that would just purposely, there'd be like 10 or so people in this circle. that would just choose to sit there every day because I would just always act a damn fool.
Well, that's why it's tough to have you in class, because you were actually enlivening a love for writing to the kids that didn't respect the teacher.
Yes.
Where really the teacher should have been like, me and Shane are leading the class.
Yeah.
Shane is underground literature and I am mainstream.
He was so he tried so hard. He saw that I was writing funny stuff, and then he was like, all right, we're going to watch that Seinfeld video where he breaks down a joke. And I was still just like, that's gay. It was just the fact that he was authority pissed me off.
Wait,
even
why
though
did
he
you
was
try
trying.
did you try to get him fired, though?
Yeah, with a lot of the shit I was writing. It was basically, I want to cause this guy an issue. It was for no reason
When
other
the
than
kid you're
just...
trying to Dead Poet Society betrays you. Terrible feeling.
Yeah, Shane's in the circle in the cave, and he's like, this is gay, actually. This is actually dumb. I don't care that your dad killed himself.
Honey,
he kills himself,
honey,
whatever.
you seem so upset. Did something go wrong at school? I'm trying to reach Dennis the Menace, but he keeps pulling these damn pranks on me. I'm really starting to doubt myself as a teacher.
It's like if Dennis the Menace loved literature, so I don't know where to start. I think I can't touch him.
Yeah, fucking... I was such a menace, teachers a lot of times.
Yeah, it sounds
either
like you
I
were
was
a nightmare.
I was either a nightmare or I was nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
we might not have liked each other in high school.
no, I think all of my friends out here probably would not have liked me maybe 3 years ago.
Well, because
My friends here in LA would not have liked me up until the day before I met them.
Well, the thing is, when I first got here, I was so anxious that it chilled me out. You know?
Yeah.
Like that, because I was acting like a fucking maniac in Nashville. I would kick chair. I would host a mic, and if somebody did a pun, I'd sit in the front row. And I'd make sure they saw I wasn't laughing. And if they did a pun, I would just kick the chair. I would host this mic every Wednesday, and I hosted the club mic. There's this club called the Comedy Bar. I would host that every week. And so everyone would come to this mic trying to impress me, and then I would just act like a dictator.
Yeah, you're just a disapproving king. You're just like,
Fine, bring a new jester.
Yeah. Just laying down the hammer of cool or gay.
Yeah, basically, yes.
Truly, nobody wants to be liked more than the guy who's just giving overarching judgments on everybody. To be like, damn, he called me a fucking loser. You want that guy to like you so much more than the guy that's like, I think you're derivative. You know, you're like, that guy's
one time in high school, you had the people had to write essays, persuasive essays to improve their writing skills. And I offered to help people with notes on theirs. And I gave a girl, I wrote so many notes on a girl's essay that she cried.
so sick.
I've made people cry at open mics. Maybe twice, I think.
My dad told me the funniest story that he went to the same high school as Bret Easton Ellis, who then became he wrote Less Than Zero and all those fucked up LA novels. He's
That all kind of suck.
Yeah, he's Gen X writer.
He got ethered by Norm Macdonald one time.
Damn.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Because Bret Easton Ellis was making fun of or talking shit about Alice Munro.
Yeah,
and Norm Macdonald tweeted I see that Alice Munro, the writer's writer, is being attacked by Bret Easton Ellis, the talentless hack's talentless hack.
Yes.
And then he said, Alice Munro is to literature what Lee Iacocca is to automaking. Bret Easton Ellis is to literature what Lee Iacocca is to literature.
That's very good.
I remember that. I was like, damn, that was awesome.
Bret Easton Ellis has one good book, The Rules of Attraction. That's pretty good. And American Psycho is very funny at times. So I don't know if I call it good.
Yeah, my dad saw him at a poetry reading, so he went up to him and was like, "Oh, we went to the same high school." And then I guess he was chill or whatever. And then 2 days later, Bret Easton Ellis wrote some article in a newspaper and it was like, I ran into the bully from my high school and shit on my dad. And my dad was just an insane, just alcoholic. They crashed a fucking bus into the high school.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
They're doing stuff that you see in a movie and you're like, I don't even think that would happen in the 70s. He did all of it. Just white guys in the 70s. Lawless. Damn. So he was a menace at his high school. He was my dad was so sick of a dude, he's fully sober now. You know what I mean? That's how sick he was. So pretty much Bret Easton Ellis writes this pussy ass article where he's I met my bully at a fucking thing. And my dad sent him an email and was like, fuck you, dog. Like, I wasn't a bully. I was just sick. You're being a fucking pussy. You owe me. You got to read my book and give me notes. And then Bret Easton Ellis was like, all right. Which obviously he would say yes, because he's like, great, I can shit on your book. Yeah. And that's what he did. My dad sent him his book and he just sent it back. And like, I don't think it was fully scathing, but it was just like a lot of like, I don't know about this. But like my dad essentially was like, I'm not a bully. Anyway, nerd, review my book. Got him to fucking read it, which is sick. But yeah, fuck Bret Easton Ellis. He's one of our, we have
one of our ops. I think he's
him.
Conservative now.
He is.
Yeah.
And I don't like him because he's a gay fella.
Is he also gay?
Bret Easton Ellis?
Yeah, he's gay.
He's
very gay.
He writes like a straight guy.
I don't agree.
I just feel like being like, yeah, they chained her up in a bed and raped her. It's like, that's more like kind of like Mask. But maybe it's evil.
If you want to read,
I don't want to.
Well, Dennis Cooper is good Bret Easton Ellis, and he writes a lot like that.
Okay.
Is he also a gay fella?
Yes, he's very gay.
Man, everybody gay.
He also grew up in the Valley too, so it's
why
like
would a
similar.
writer be gay?
That's so weird.
Crazy.
But I'm a writer.
So I had this idea. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but of taking literal like hardcore gay porn written in the 60s, like the novels and stuff, and then trying to put it up against like contemporary literature and seeing which one sounds gayer.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's so... there's this guy I've talked about in the pod named Delicious Tacos, who's, like, a right-wing fucking writer.
Yeah.
Which he claims not be right-wing, but it's like all your friends are right-wing, so shut up.
Mm-hmm.
But his stuff is, like, being a man and, like, getting pussy and stuff. And it's, like, the most fucking... It's very feminine.
Oh, boy.
Like, effeminate.
Sure.
And he has this, like, effeminate voice to the point that I saw him at an event one time, and he gave the announcement for it, and I asked my roommate later, who is the gay guy who gave the announcement?
Damn.
Like gay, like rich kid, Massachusetts.
Yeah, you can always tell when a guy who didn't play football is talking about being the quarterback. You can always tell that they never did that.
Can we dox it? Let's just dox him on the pod.
It was fifth down, and we were 102 yards from the goal line. Nailing it.
So I could just dox the Delicious Tacos guy.
Get it.
Yeah. His name's like...
Sending shots. He's an op.
Yeah, he's an op
to the pod.
So that's his like real name. I just kind of Googled, because I knew his first names, so I just Googled Delicious Tacos, and then I just found his LinkedIn immediately. So like we're
like the 6'9".
You guys are awesome.
This is crazy.
This is such a
Dude, imagine if every time we wrote a podcast, we were like, all right, that's 7 people I can't talk to anymore.
Piss everybody off.
Yeah.
I mean, the commitment to it though is fucking incredible.
So he went to which is really nice.
Yeah. I know all about that place.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Is it like super nice?
It's way too nice. It's the children of war criminals go there. Absolutely.
Oh,
sick.
damn.
So he's probably a rich kid.
Oh, he's definitely a rich kid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shane is exposed to me because you've like when you came to LA, you kind of entered like the still existing literary scene in LA.
Well,
and apparently there's like as with comedy and many things, there's just like a right-wing faction of it now, of just like these guys, your roommate included, who were like, I'm not a fascist.
Yeah.
I can't stop working for fascists. And that's all these fucking losers.
Yeah. And they're all like, and I'm a little guy, I could fight all of them. It's crazy.
Skinny boys.
The other thing too is
well, they're just pussies. It's not even that they're skinny. It's just they're fucking pussies.
They really are. The thing they're doing now is like they're like, I'm not fascist. I am a neo-Bakuninist, Keynesian economist, Hitler fan.
Yeah.
Where my ideology exists at the perfect intersection of these 3 guys that only I've ever come up with. And it's like they're treating like really obscure like theory guys like they're Pokemon, or it's like where like when we were kids we were like, these are the, I got a Gyarados and I got a Alakazam, and then these guys are like, I am 20% a Hirohito adherent, I am 20% a follower of Aristotle. It's very strange what they're doing.
Yeah, I think when you are starting to get into like being able to define yourself that way, you fucked things up.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
you've lost the thread of acquiring knowledge. Because you're supposed to just take it all in, and then whatever you make, you make.
Yeah, but it's like, but they're doing it like they're like, it's the same way that people will be like, Bears, 49ers.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same. I was talking about this yesterday with Dan. Like, literally what you just said is like, it just seems like so many guys are just trying to complicate their way into just being an old school white supremacist. Where they're like, so pretty much what all of that means is we should have different schools. And you're like, okay,
I think we should actually increase the price of school lunches.
Yeah, because it's like they talk about that, then they start talking about welfare, and you're like, okay, here we go. Like, this is what you're actually about. And we're taking it down.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we've already doxed a right-wing thinker.
Yeah, anybody else you guys want to dox?
No,
It's the funniest thing you could do on your podcast.
It's so awesome.
We need
Let
to
me think if I can dox anybody. I don't think that's...
The trick is to only dox people who are weaker than you.
Yeah.
People who can beat you up and have less status.
Yeah.
I mean, pull up.
Also, I want to say Delicious Tacos,
Right-wing pundit.
Yeah, he is a 49-year-old man writing about pussy and shit.
God damn.
And he was on Red Scare. He talked about like fucking like a Japanese woman because he's like a sex tourist. And she was like clearly hated him. And he was like, I didn't get why. And it's like, because you suck. And your name is...
It's funny to...
That's a bad name to have.
It's funny to talk about sex tourism openly like you're Rick Steves.
Like, that's
just
crazy.
to be like, the boys of Denmark are delicious, and some of them are 12. And if you talk to your concierge at your hotel, he'll show you where the 12-year-olds are.
Yeah. This is the Pissed Off Lib podcast.
Yes.
This is the disgusting... I mean, truly, I never played football in high school, but I played it, like, at puberty time. So I at least got to play tackle football.
That's all that matters.
When people could kick my ass.
You play one game, you're good for life.
And I played 2 seasons, defensive tackle, described as scrappy.
Whoa.
And you know who you are. Where you're like, okay, that's not who I am. And then you talk to some guys and you're like, you didn't have that. You didn't have the Oklahoma drill where everybody laughed at you because you're not a football player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you need to have that. Because my dad took me to too many museums and poetry readings that if I did not go into sports and realize I can't do that, then I would be so much more of an asshole than I am now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just remembered, I remembered this story the other day about, because I used to do karate when I was like a kid and shit. And I remember one time this kid accidentally kicked me in the balls. So I fucking like punched him in the face really hard and he fell over, and I tried punching him in the chest and the guy pulled me over. I punched him so hard he had blood. And I had to leave.
That's sick.
For being too good at karate? That's bullshit.
For just breaking the rules by actually...
Did you do any sports?
I went to basketball camp.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
I played soccer, but everybody does that.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of like the basketball shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's, Tennessee, dog.
I never
Black
played a
as
land
hell.
sport.
Yeah,
I was like a speedboat, only designed for one thing, going fast in the water.
Swim?
I did for a bit for like exercise, but the traffic was too bad going to and from the pool on my way like after work. So now I haven't swam in a few months, but
I got a pool if you boys ever want to come over. It's always
yeah.
open.
I
Text me
do.
anytime.
I don't care how small it is. I will exclusively only do laps in it.
You can hit some laps in it. And
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
times, when it gets hot, I mean, it's gotten a little cooler, but a lot of patrons out there lounging by the pool.
Oh, and they're gonna get splashed when I do an epic kick turn.
Yeah.
Oh
You're doing
my
butterflies.
God. Yep. Oh yeah.
You're doing butterflies in the shallow end.
You know what I've yet to do is I've not gone swimming once when I've been here. And I really like to swim.
Well, you don't leave your hood.
I don't leave the house.
Do not leave the block.
Yeah.
I literally, like, all I do other than comedy is I go to cafes and read, or I just go hang out with somebody I know.
Yeah, and
or
you
go
drink
to,
like legal opium.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then read horror
you
stories.
can't go in the pool because you can't bring your 9 into the pool.
Yeah.
You're like the second you step in the water, you're lacking.
Yeah.
You don't, unless there's a way that you can have your gun underwater, you can't go in the pool.
Yeah,
That's
this podcast truly will never be caught lacking.
Absolutely
No,
not.
That is
absolutely
the
not. This
one
is the
thing-
toughest podcast in LA.
Whether or not chances are find no success, we still will not be caught lacking.
Yeah,
and that's what's most important. And
I think what'll happen to this podcast is we'll keep going for like 200 episodes probably, and then eventually, when we're both successful, somebody will be like, "Hey, did you guys see both these guys had a podcast?"
If this podcast ever got successful, it would be lobbied against by the Zionist Organization of America immediately.
You guys talked a lot of shit.
We would have every New York Times would call us terrorists.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We spoke to 550 of their enemies, all of whom have been doxxed on past episodes.
Isn't it?
That was our first dox. I think that was the first dox, I will say. So it's pretty cool you guys were here for that. But I think
special.
I think we should continue. That was pretty fun. Kind of got my blood pumping.
Yeah, I love that the enemies list bit started out fake. Very real now.
Yeah.
Very real.
This is as inflammatory as a podcast could be because we haven't done anything racist or like homophobic.
No, that's the thing. If you looked at the values of our podcast, it's like a radically left podcast.
Yeah,
it's just also just disgusting and childish.
Yeah.
So it's just like not a likable brand.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But
it's like the most like off-putting thing you could possibly
But when
be.
we do this podcast, I'm like, there are other weird guys. There are weird guys that don't want to be racist fascists that are equally angry as the racist fascists and are like, no, I'm not going to follow you because of the aesthetics.
Yeah. The only person that you're allowed to be hateful towards is just the unfortunate mailmen you happen to have a rage attack on one day, regardless of their race. They could be any race, but, just going to save our hate for outbursts rather than targeted bigotry.
Yeah, we truly only talk shit about like warmongers and racists, and then jokingly killing Lorne Michaels. But he knows we're kidding.
He's a comedy guy.
We expect the podcast to get on SNL. 10 minutes of SNL will be on podcast.
Remember the first episode, and you messaged me and were like, "Yeah, I got to cut like 20 minutes out of the podcast. You got to stop talking shit about our friends."
Well, yeah, that was the only issue.
Naming names?
Yeah.
Is you did begin naming people we see every day. And I was like, I mean, nobody else knows these people, so the only result of this is
people getting pissed off.
It's not even entertaining. It's just like ruining our relationships.
Yeah. Just making things very just inconvenient.
Just because I thought it was funny.
Yeah. You're just like, I mean, he did that. And I'm like, don't say that.
We also had to edit. Never mind. I'll tell you guys after the pod.
Yeah,
but we don't cut a lot. I truly edit this podcast by taking the chip, putting it in my computer, making sure the sound is fine, which
making sure it's like the biggest file possible.
Yeah, I don't know why the files are humongous. They're so big, Shane's computer can't.
The video files.
Yeah,
like the finished file.
Oh, okay. So you might have something wrong with your export codec.
We can for sure talk about that.
We can.
Yeah.
You want to talk file size and the general cumbersomeness of this podcast? Okay, we're now you're in our wheelhouse, boys. Strap in.
Hell yeah.
You want to change your export settings. I mean,
we can talk about it when we're done doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Because we're almost at the hour. Hour 7.
It's for the code.
I'm trying to be helpful.
Yeah. I'm saying, but I think that's off podcast talk.
It is really unentertaining for me to talk about export codecs.
Yeah. I don't think anybody.
I love that it took you a second.
Boy, my eyes lit up.
That'd be funny if like we get to the hour 7 mark and then you start talking about that and people are like, no.
That's right. Cut it off.
Yeah.
You get
I'm one of the old ones.
They unsubscribe.
Everything else unappealing they said I was in for. But then they got into that nerd shit. Well, I mean, that's an hour 7. We can probably call it.
Yeah, we can call it.
Hell of a pod. Thanks for having
boys,
us on.
thank you so much for coming.
You guys.
Thank you for having us on.
Our absolute pleasure.
Watch A Closer Look podcast. You guys want to
you got to watch it. It's
watch it.
Plug our
socials.
Patreon.
A Closer Look. You can find the first 2 seasons free wherever you get your podcasts. The 3rd season, some of the episodes are free. Give them a listen and check out the other ones that are on our Patreon.
Check out the first 2 seasons that are for free before you subscribe. See if you like them. I think you probably will.
They're great.
Yeah, you'll probably love them.
Subscribe to the Patreon. The first 2 seasons are free.
And if you don't like them, we'll pay you.
Yeah.
If you don't like
it. We have an open offer to $3 to anybody who genuinely listens to the podcast.
If they finish it. You have to finish it?
You have to finish. You have to listen to 3 episodes.
No.
I'll pay for 3 episodes.
I'll pay $20 if you finish it and don't like it.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to the podcast, you piece of shit.
You dead man.
You're there's 2 podcasts you're enemies with now.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
The Closer Look boys are gonna write a scathing takedown of a guy who resembles you in an episode set in the 50s.
Who is just every guy in the 50s who couldn't get married.
Totally.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
Thank
especially.
you. We'll see you next week. Bye, bye, bye.